Welcome to the Fearful Fright series, where we will be reading with our favorite green ghoul, Grimmer. Now sit back and enjoy this twisted tale. Today our story is called The Heir of Thunder. Dr. Elias Frankenstein always hated his last name. People laughed when they heard it. Teenagers smirked. Professors raised eyebrows. Every introduction came with the same joke. Any monsters in the family, Doc? And Elias learned early to smile tightly and move on. What no one knew was that the Frankenstein name had followed him like a shadow his entire life. His father died when Elias was 13, leaving behind a narrow house in upstate New York and a locked basement door no one was allowed to open. His mother sold the house a year later, insisting the basement contents be destroyed without ever going down there herself. But they never were. Years later, after earning a doctorate in biomedical engineering and neural regeneration, Elias inherited the last remaining possession from his father, an old leather trunk delivered without explanation. Inside were journals. Dozens of them. The pages were yellowed, the ink faded but deliberate, written in precise, obsessive handwriting. The name on the inside cover of the first book made Elias's breath hitch. Victor Frankenstein. Not a myth, not a novel. His ancestor. As Elias read deeper, disbelief turned to dread. These weren't philosophical musings or fiction drafts. They were experiments, measurements, failures, corrections, diagrams of human anatomy annotated with lightning-shaped symbols and notes written in the margins like prayers. Life does not begin in the heart, one passage read. It begins in the spark between thought and flesh. Elias should have burned the journals. Instead, he locked his apartment door and kept reading. The final journal was different. The handwriting grew frantic near the end, the ink pressed so hard it tore the page. The body lived, Victor had written. But it learned faster than I anticipated. Faster than morality. The last page ended mid-sentence. Elias sat back, heart racing. His modern training told him this was impossible. Reanimation on this scale violated every known biological law. And yet, some of Victor's notes aligned disturbingly well with modern neural mapping and electrical stimulation research Elias had already worked on. Victor had been early. Too early. And now Elias was exactly on time. The graveyard was quiet the first night he went. Oakwood Memorial Cemetery stretched across a fog-drowned hill, its iron gates rusted but unlocked. Elias told himself he wasn't doing anything illegal, just research, observation. That lie shattered the moment he brought the shovel. He chose graves marked unclaimed, forgotten, names half erased by time. He worked quickly, breath fogging the air, flinching at every sound. He never looked directly at what he took. Never lingered. He wrapped each piece carefully, reverently, whispering apologies he wasn't sure anyone could hear. By the third night, the guilt dulled. By the fifth, it was replaced by purpose. Elias converted an abandoned industrial warehouse into a lab, soundproofed, reinforced, hidden behind false permits and outdated ownership records. He followed Victor's designs while improving them, merging centuries-old obsession with cutting-edge technology. Copper coils, capacitors, a neural lattice grown from synthetic polymers, electrodes woven like veins, and the body. Tall, massive, carefully assembled. Elias told himself he wasn't creating a monster. He was correcting a mistake. The storm came on its own. Thunder rolled across the sky like something alive, lightning cracking open the clouds again and again. Elias stood alone in the lab, drenched in sweat and fear, hands shaking as he powered the final system. Please, he whispered, to science, to God, to his ancestor. Work. The switch came down. Electricity screamed through the coils. The lights exploded into blinding white. The body arched violently against the restraints, muscles tightening, fingers curling. For one terrible second, nothing happened. Then, the chest rose. A sound escaped the creature's throat, not a scream, not a breath, but something in between. Wet, confused, searching. Elias laughed and cried at the same time. "I did it," he whispered. "You're alive." The eyes opened. They were not dull. They were not empty. They were aware. And they locked onto Elias with terrifying focus. The creature learned quickly. Too quickly. It tracked sound within hours. Understood words within days. It stared at its own reflection for long periods, fingers tracing scars Elias had tried not to see. One night, Elias woke to the sound of movement. The restraints lay open. The creature stood at the foot of his cot, head tilted, eyes reflecting the dim lab lights. "You made me," it said, voice rough but deliberate. Elias couldn't scream. "You stole me," the creature continued. "From many." Elias's mouth moved before his mind caught up. "I gave you life." The creature's lips twitched, not quite a smile. "Then why," it asked, "do I feel like something was taken from me?" The power went out. When the emergency lights flickered on, the creature was gone. So was the journal. Police would later find the lab empty. No body. No equipment. Only muddy footprints leading out into the storm-soaked night. Weeks later, Elias Frankenstein vanished. His apartment was found undisturbed, except for a single message written in cramped, familiar handwriting on the bathroom mirror. The spark continues. To be continued.